Okay, hi everybody. Happy Good Friday. Is today Good Friday?
Good Friday.
Yeah, Good Friday.
It's a
Easter
great
weekend.
What's good about it? No, I'm just kidding.
Welcome to DVTV in Space. I'm Tammy Nash. I'm managing editor for Dallas Voice, and today I've got Israel Luna down there on that end,
Hi, everybody.
and James Love, aka Cassie Nova, who's
Hola.
not a guest columnist, but a contributing columnist for The Voice, and Rose Room legend.
Ooh,
And then
legend.
we've got-
Wait. Legend makes you sound old. Y'all don't like legend.
Oh, good Lord.
And then David Taffet, who is the senior staff writer for Dallas Voice and also
when they made
a
me
legend.
senior staff writer, it was to make me seem old.
Senior. Yeah, that's what it is.
Thanks
Okay,
a
we're
lot.
going to start off today. Our cover story in The Voice this week is about the new Del Shores movie, A Very Sordid Wedding. We are lucky enough to have one of the cast members here.
Ooh.
James Casanova was in the movie. They filmed part of it at the Rose Room. So I'm going to let James talk about that and about being in the movie and the folks in the movie.
First, I want to start off by saying that the movie is really, really good. Like, it's really good. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see it again. I'm really proud of it. Del Shores did a great job with this movie. I mean, it's very poignant and resonates with what's going on with marriage equality and all of that. And it's
I saw that in the trailer where they're talking about like somebody doesn't want to serve someone like was it a cake or a wedding cake or something? But I was like,
their little town that they live in has decided that they're going to be the one town that does not let people get gay married.
Got it. Very nice. Now, this is a sequel. When did the original come out? Because it's been a while, right?
I believe it came out in 2000, so it's been like almost 17 years.
I think that was
Wow.
in 2000, 2001,
Yeah.
something like that. I can't
And then
remember.
they did a series.
Yeah,
That's
that was
right.
On Logo.
on Logo.
Now, does this pick up after the first film or after the Logo series?
After
or do
the
you-
Logo series.
Oh, okay.
Ty from the original movie, the Bonnie Bedelia's gay son, is now kind of a famous actor and is going around and getting married to his husband in each state.
Oh, okay. Okay.
As a publicity stunt kind of thing.
Okay.
Got it. Very
So-
nice. Now, is it all the original cast members or are there new?
Like Caroline Ray, Delta Burke played her in the. It was Delta Burke in the original movie, and then Caroline Ray took over in the series and in this new movie.
Okay.
The girl that plays Sissy in the original, Beth
Oh,
Grant,
the rubber band.
the rubber band,
Yeah.
is being played by Dale Dickey now, and you would never know that that's not the same person.
Yeah,
She does
I thought
such
it
an
was.
incredible job.
Yeah.
Because now, this might be a stupid question, but she died?
No, I think she was just super busy,
Oh, okay.
or a bitch. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The one who did die was Rue McClanahan.
Yeah,
Oh,
She played
But
Mama,
there's
right?
There's a wonderful little tribute to her.
In the movie,
they
yeah.
show
her gravestone.
her gravestone with her picture on
Yeah,
it.
but she was in the series and then died before they could do this, so that there's a good tribute to her in the movie.
Yeah.
And then my favorite character in the movie is Juanita. She's the little crazy lady that sits and smokes at the bar and says random stuff. She passed just a few weeks, or like I think about 2 months ago.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna love her parts in the movie. She's just so damn funny.
Now, they came into the Rose Room where you work,
Yeah.
and they filmed part of it there, right?
Yep.
What was that like? Is that why you got to be in it because they wanted to film in the Rose Room, or it's like,
You know,
we want y'all
Cassie
in
said,
it?
you cannot shoot here unless I'm the star.
I'm not. Never mind. I actually, Del Shores has been coming to the Rose Room for years and years and years, and he's always been really, really good to the Rose Room. He's even written like in Southern Baptist Sissies and stuff. It seems like he's written characters that were loosely based on people he had seen in the Rose Room or performers and stuff. So he told us years ago. He said, "I'm thinking of." Doing a sequel to Sordid Lives, and we're gonna write in the Rose Room, so we're gonna make Brother Boy come to the Rose Room.
Okay.
And he said, he told me and Crystal, he said, I'm gonna write parts for y'all, and we were like, okay, just okay. And then whenever it really happened, it was like, that's awesome. Yeah, it's very cool.
Now, I have a writing question. So, like, when he presents to you the script, do you read it and say, this could be funnier if I add my own spin? How does that work?
It was so funny because I'm not the best at reading scripts and stuff. I mean, I'm a lot better ad lib kind of stuff. And he gave me this script, and I butchered it real good. And I was so stressed out about, doing a good job. He pulled me aside and he's like, dude, just do what you do on stage. He goes, just work in this word and work in this word here and kind of do that. And he said, now just go. And he let me go for like 30 minutes of just,
That's
stuff.
unusual
Yeah.
for Del.
Yeah.
Del usually is a stickler for this is what the script says.
Yeah.
And he works on the script. I mean, it's not like he's written it and never changes
Right.
it. But once the script is there, it's
for my scene, for my part, it was, I think I was coming off too much like I was saying lines instead of being natural and stuff. And I think it was more important to him for it to be natural for that part.
Yeah, because
So-
for you, it's a new thing because you're used to ad-libbing
Right.
on a microphone, right? And then you can talk forever, but
not
now
an actor. Not an
Yeah.
actor. I never have, I'm quite horrible at it.
he's good. He's good.
Please. I was in your movie and my big scene is stepping on a dick.
Now, which movie were you in? Which one of Israel's?
My zombie film that
Okay.
I have to show you scenes after the show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been editing. It should be out. We should be having the premiere this summer.
Oh, that's excellent. So
Yeah.
we can have James come back and talk about stepping on
no,
dicks.
You have Crystal or Jenna. Somebody that had a really my part was literally I was the head trombie.
Yes.
Tranny zombie or whatever. And
Can we say tranny on Dallas Voice Talk?
read my column this week.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
My penis falls off and then I step on it.
It rots off, and then she's happy about it.
I just liked how pretty it was. It was a very nice look. It was awful.
Okay, well, let's go back to Sordid Wedding for a minute. So now you were tell me about going to, was it Palm Springs
Yeah.
for the premiere? Talk about the premiere a little bit.
My husband and I turned it into a little vacation. We'd never been to Palm Springs. It was really cool. So we got to walk the red carpet and do all of that. And all the stars from the movie were there. And Bonnie Bedelia, who was in Die Hard. I'm a super big fan. And then Del Dickey. I was like a giddy schoolgirl around her. I just freaking love her. Do you remember that show, My Name is Earl? She played Patty, the daytime hooker.
Oh yes.
And
Okay.
but she was also in the movies Winter's Bone with.
I've not seen that
Oh
one.
my God!
Jennifer
it's an
Lawrence.
amazing movie. She was the redneck bitch.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
she was so
Yes.
good in it. I mean, she's an amazing actress.
She was
And
also in Breaking Bad and so
Yeah.
many other films. She's a
True
great
Blood,
character
I mean,
actress.
Yeah, she's all over the place. So I was just like, just giddy with excitement. And then of course Leslie Jordan is just a
mess.
nutcase. Such a nutcase. He's so much fun though.
I saw a picture that we ran that you gave us some pictures from the premiere when you were there, and a picture of you and him, and it's like
God,
you're not like a really tall
I
person,
know,
but it's
I
like
look
you're
like,
up
I
here.
look like
and
Godzilla
look-
next to a
He's
nice
just
little
tiny.
building.
Yeah.
Leslie's like 4'10".
I know he's
something like that.
tiny.
Yeah.
isn't
So
he?
did you
Just
do the whole
really
schoolgirl
small.
thing and do like selfies with everybody?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
I suck at selfies, so I have other people take them.
Oh, okay.
But I had a picture where I was literally bent over all the way and wrapped around him or whatever to hug him, and it looked like I'm playing with a 5-year-old.
Yeah, he's pretty tiny. I remember
He's
the
so sweet
photos.
though. He's really fun.
But he's the best guest to have on a show. On my radio show, he came on, and all you have to say is, our guest today is Leslie Jordan. Leslie, we have to take a break. And we're back with and he's talking, and show's over. Leslie,
Yeah.
best guest.
Those are the best kind of guests. 'cause
easiest
you don't have
ones,
to-
yeah,
you don't have to try.
So
He goes off on tangents though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
It's so amusing though.
Now, were you nervous before the screening? Like you're there, you're seeing all these people. Are you thinking, crap, I have to shine?
I was just excited to not be cut out of the movie. You know, like.
Now, did you know you weren't cut out?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I whenever I popped up in the trailer for the movie, even briefly, I was like, I made it. I made
Oh,
it. You know,
good.
so, and
Yeah.
then it was funny because Crystal Summers is also in the movie, and she called me she goes, call me the second the movie's over and let me know if my part got cut. I was like, no, everything he filmed was in there. So
That's
it was,
cool.
It was really cool.
there's a photo with the story this week. Looks like Leslie sitting at a table with you and
Crystal.
and
yeah.
Crystal, right?
Yeah.
I love the expression on your face. You're like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm so, it's the next there.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
love
funny.
that photo. Turn around and see if we can.
And for those of you who want to see these photos, grab a Dallas Voice.
Yes, on
Am I pointing in
newsstands
the right
today.
place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that one. But the expressions on y'all's faces, like, who are you?
So then
What
I
are you
take
doing
it-
in my dressing room?
So you were pleased with the film? Everything was great?
I
What
loved
you
it.
expected?
Yeah, I was in it just enough to feel special.
Yeah.
But I was so
Not
pleased.
too much.
Yeah, not too much. He made me look even better than, because all I could think of was that the cameras were coming up at this angle. I'm just going to look like a fat bitch. I'm going to look like Honey Boo Boo's mama before. Just chins for days. But no, it was really cool. Like, it was really, really cool. And not to mention with the Rose Room makeover, you know how proud I am of the Rose Room and all of the bells and whistles that it has. And this movie featured all of that. I mean,
good.
The geysers,
Nice.
everything got to be seen. So
Yeah, I love all
The
of
back
the
screen.
video
Yeah.
that y'all are able to do now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really cool.
Now,
love
for
it.
those people who are big fans like me of the original, what can they expect that's new from this one?
I think if you liked the original, you'll love this one. Remember how the original had so many great one-liners, that people
many
still-
quotable lines,
quotable
yeah.
lines, like "shoot her in the head, Wardell." Lines that people still say. There are even more in this movie that I think once this becomes like, once a lot of people see it, there's
Well, the
it'll
other
be
thing
part of
this
the
movie has is Cassie.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly. I know there was a line in the trailer where one woman says, I live by the Bible. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought,
That there are
that's
so
good.
many great. There's a great scene in the church where they say, "Well, we're gonna talk about every single thing every time that Jesus said anything about homosexuality in the Bible." And so there's so many great scenes, and the Del Dickey part, she sits there with the Bible and goes through there and quotes everything that has ever been said. And it's kind of eye opening to all these people that the Bible beaters that that want to throw scripture at you. It's like she counterpoints with scripture, and it's really good.
Ooh, nice.
That's
And we have to take a break here in a few.
Are we ready to take a break? See, time flies. I always lose track of time. We're going to take our first break of the day, and during the break, stick around so you can watch the trailer for the film, okay? When we come back, we're going to talk about Cassie's column in the paper this week. All right? Thanks. Hey, and we are back. So we've been talking about Del Shore's new movie, The Very Sordid Wedding, filmed in part here in Dallas at the Rose Room.
Most of it was filmed in Canada.
Okay.
But
What?
Yeah, I know.
It looks a
In
lot like
Winnipeg, I
Texas.
believe. Yeah.
Winnipeg looks like small town Texas.
Do you know I was
Yeah.
in Winnipeg about 2 years ago, and downtown doesn't, but the outskirts of it just kind of does. It's flat. It's rolling plains.
Is it because of the incentives over there?
I'd have
Because
Yeah,
ours
yeah,
suck
yeah.
over
Probably,
here
yeah.
in Texas.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Is it? Oh,
Nevertheless, we're back. We are in Dallas, and part of the movie was filmed in
Yeah.
Dallas at the Rose Room with James Love as Cassie Nova and some of the other girls from the Rose Room. And now Cassie Nova is also
one of our columnists.
thank you, one of our columnists for the Dallas Voice. And I want Cassie or James today to talk about one of the letters in the column for this week. It's kind of a serious subject, and I think it's a subject that we don't pay enough attention to, or any attention to, really.
It was a guy that wrote in who's been married for 3 years or so, and about a year or so ago, that him and his husband got into a fight. The husband beat the hell out of him, like really hurt him, I guess. But then instead of leaving him, they made up, and they had the guy. I don't want to say what he says, but gave it to him like he's never gotten it before, and it was the biggest turn on and the best sex that they've ever had.
Oh.
And so a couple of months later, they're fighting over wine or something, and they start another fight, gets physical, and it ends in really good sex. And so I actually had to edit the guy's letter way down, because he goes into great detail about getting it,
Yeah.
And it got to the point where it just seemed really obvious that he even made one of the comments that I edited out was that him saying, today I wanted to start a fight just so we could have good sex. And I was like, this is screwed up, dude. This is really screwed up. So I was like, you need to first see a therapist. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a drag queen with an advice column. You need professional help. I was like, you've got daddy issues and your husband's got anger issues. And I gave him the what is it? The gay men's.
It's a hotline. I can't remember the name.
The
What
Gay
it's called.
Men's Domestic Violence Project. That way, if he's really in trouble, I mean, I want him to seek help.
Now, do you think he's really in trouble? It seems like this is their thing. This is what they do, and that's why the police usually
But
don't get involved.
Somebody who's involved in S&M, or a couple involved in S&M, they're not hurting each other. And this letter indicates
They're hurting each other
are.
within the confines of their
They set their boundaries.
right, and have their safe words. And,
and this
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
seem to have
controlled.
boundaries. It doesn't seem to have much control.
no, this is
This
controlling.
letter seemed to
Yeah, it's
be
controlling.
almost as if it was out of control. This was
It's
S&M
violence.
bordering on real domestic
Right.
violence.
I don't think there's anything S&M, in my opinion, and
I
from
almost
what I
feel-
know. There's nothing S&M. It's just violence. It's domestic violence.
Yeah, I almost feel like he's justifying the reason that he stayed was because the sex got good. The sex was good. But I think it's a justification for, he's beating the hell out of me, but I'm staying with him. It's a
But
way
he
to make
said
it
he
okay.
was sorry.
Yeah, but he said he was sorry.
I mean, you hear that in
And
the
one of
in the
lines
straight
was,
all the time.
I didn't know what I'd done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about in the heterosexual community when they talk about domestic violence, why don't they just leave? Why don't they just leave? It's not always that easy, and it's the same in our community. You can't just pack up your life and leave. There's money involved. And a lot of times in heterosexual relationship, there are children involved.
Right.
But there's some reason that someone allows someone to hit on them, and it's not for good sex.
Now-
and there's some reason people hit on people.
In the letter, because I'm playing devil's advocate here. In the letter, when he sent it to you, did it seem to you that this person was in a way trapped, or did it seem like this is this person's fetish?
Honestly, a little of both. Like
Okay.
it seems like it could go either way. I think part of it seemed like a real cry for help, and then other parts were like, "But listen, how dirty I can get," and how.
That's justifying, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna talk real dirty so that you're paying attention to this and,
And
not
not the
attention
fact
to the
that
fact that I'm
He just punched me in my face. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the only thing that's concerning to me is that, this, I kind of understand where the cops come from when they come to a domestic dispute, because yes, they're yelling and screaming, and the woman, has a cut and the guy has bruises, and the cops say, we're not going to get involved. And that's usually because the next hour they're having great sex and they're wonderful and everything's fine. And maybe this is what they do all the time,
Right.
as opposed to somebody's trapped and they're wanting out and they don't know how.
And do you know, a number of years ago, I worked with a woman who her husband beat her so hard that her jaw was wired shut for months, and she didn't leave him because, he was very sorry. She was severely injured, and when I say her jaw wired shut and in the hospital for a few days. This is not in any way acceptable. Was he sorry? I'm sure he was. But it happened again.
Yeah, that's very common. Very common.
I've been working with and have done several stories on domestic violence. And one of the things that doctors, therapists who work with people involved in domestic violence say is that it takes an average of, I believe, 5 or 6 times for something like this to happen for the person who's the victim to actually leave.
Really.
At least.
The only thing that I see different in this case of the person that wrote in to the article is that now he's sort of encouraging the fight because
Right.
he enjoys the sex. That's the only thing that's
One
making
of
me
the
question.
other things that was interesting was that he says, and I don't hit him back because I'm bigger. I thought,
And with domestic violence, there are times where the woman is doing the
abuser,
domestic
yeah.
violence, and she's the abuser, and the husband is the victim, and he's bigger. That's not necessarily an indication,
Right.
just size.
Because
of-
it's their
You have
mental
to-
controlling thing. Yeah.
You have to stop it. One of the things that we're doing and that I just thought about is in domestic violence, the woman, it doesn't have to be a woman. It's 2 women, it's 2 men, it's a man and a woman. It's, whatever the situation is. But we tend to think of the butch person in the relationship as being the abuser.
yeah.
And that's whether that means it's the man in a heterosexual relationship, or the butch man and a gay male, or the butch lesbian, and that's not necessarily true at all. But and it's not about. I don't think it's about it's great sex. It's these people who stay in these abusive relationships sometimes need that. Just need that human connection, and they don't have enough confidence in themselves, enough self-esteem to think that if I leave, this is all I can get. I think is what I'm trying to say. They don't leave because this is all I can get. I need somebody, and he's going to tell me he's sorry, or she's going to tell me she's sorry.
Well, what was this person writing in for? What were they asking?
The last sentence was, so should we stay together or should I break up with him?
Oh, okay.
This was a cry for help,
Yeah.
but it was at the same time not wanting to admit I need help.
Okay, well, see, now that makes a difference, because now that seems like this person is wondering if they should leave. If they hadn't have asked that, I'd said, they're enjoying it.
and in every case of domestic violence, the couple is together for a reason.
Some water.
Yeah, thank you. The couple's together for a reason, and they usually do love each other. But
That's true.
if violence is happening, it's not going
gonna
to just
continue.
stop. It's going to continue. And your advice, go see a therapist, was absolutely right.
Absolutely,
Because a couple of lines in the newspaper isn't going to do anything. Excuse me.
I thought you were about to cry. I'm like,
I am. A couple of lines in the newspaper isn't going to make him say, okay, yeah, now I understand.
No, I'm clear. Yeah.
yeah.
but go see somebody
he needs
who
to
might.
talk to somebody about this.
I've had people in my family, that were in abusive relationships, and I remember one girl saying years ago that it was like, I can't. What else am I going to do? He's the only one that wants me.
Right.
Yeah.
There's folks like that have some severe, and probably the abusers have self-esteem issues as well.
And the abusers tell them, no one else is going to want
Right.
you. They're
I'm all
fed
you're
that.
ever going to get. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
so
they start to believe it. Yeah.
Exactly.
In one story I did, the person who was abused actually didn't leave, but he made the partner leave.
Yes.
Yeah, he said he couldn't leave because the dogs were there, and all of his stuff was there, and he just felt like and fortunately, the partner who did the abuse, and it was one time and out in that case, he was the one who left.
Yeah. Do you see?
But that's so unusual.
Right.
It usually
One of the
takes
things-
a number of times just like this.
Yeah.
One of the things to realize in that abuse, S&M is not abuse. S&M is a consensual relationship, and they set their boundaries, and they have, like you said, their safe words and things.
Tammy, you know a lot about that.
I know a lot of people in that community. I sure do. But they don't, that's not abuse.
What is your safe word? Is
Bitch,
Mine's
please.
kumquat.
Of course it is. But also, there's a difference between S&M, which is
Sadomasochism.
yeah,
or
but
what
I'm
that's
trying
what
to
it
think of the
stands
words. There's like a violent sexuality kind of.
It's not
But
violence
it's not rape.
itself.
It's
not
not rape.
violence. It's not rape. It's not abuse. It's consensual.
sexual enjoyment with pain.
What you're talking about, and we fought, but then the sex was so great. That's kind of like rape. That is sexualized violence. It's not about sex. It's violence, and you kind of add that sexual aspect to it to make. Oh well, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thank you
So-
for the advice. Since I wrote it in, it was me. No, I'm just kidding. We have to.
Kids
It's
Once again,
Get help.
it's
I
time
will
for a
get
break. Y'all hang around, watch the commercials, and we'll be back in a second.
I like when you say y'all.
Y'all. That's my word. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. We've been talking about Cassie Nova on stage and Cassie Nova as a columnist, but we're going to change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about something I think is a very serious subject, and it's about the stories that are coming out of Chechnya right now, about gay men in Chechnya being arrested, taken to concentration camps, and tortured. I think they've said as many as 100 men have been killed. So, I mean, David, you posted a story about
I
it.
did
Talk
post
about
a
it.
story. It was Michael K. Lavers from the Washington Blade who did the research, and I checked on all of his links. His links were to Russian papers, so that's why he took so long to get this up, because he had to get these newspaper articles that he was reporting. He had to get them translated. Apparently, about 100 men in Chechnya have been arrested and tortured for no other reason than they're gay, and that's the basic story. And we don't have much information on them because.
Do we know how they're finding them? Like, where are they going to?
People rat them out.
Yeah.
So you can just rat out anybody, whether they're gay or not, and just say, "Hey, I don't like this person."
Plus, there are Chechen LGBT organizations, and people post things online. It's not real hard to find.
Now, is it illegal to be gay over there?
Yeah.
Okay, it is.
Just like in Russia. Yeah.
Well, it is part of Russia.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've seen things where people, they have like these little hate groups that set up little sting operations where they have somebody that's cute contact somebody online and say, "Hey, come, let's meet up at this house." And where they meet up, they
show up and
beat
they're
the hell
arrested,
out of them.
right?
Yeah.
Or
arrest
just
them now,
or just getting killed. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Well-
there's nothing right now like to protect them. There are no laws to protect them at all from being LGBT.
There's nothing.
No. Do you know one result of Russian anti-LGBT activity is that if you're Jewish, and when the Soviet Union fell, they found lots and lots of Jewish people throughout the former Soviet Union. If you're Jewish, you can move to Israel. And because of that, Tel Aviv has the highest percentage gay population in the world. They estimate that almost 30% of Tel Aviv is gay right now.
Wow.
And it's mostly from all of these Russians who have escaped Russia
To go there to live
to
safely.
go there so they can live safely.
There've been some activists in Russia who have been trying real hard to protect the people there and to try and create some change over there for several years now, and it's not working. They try to hold pride parades and people get beat up and arrested, and
I saw a documentary on it not too long ago on HBO.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but
What's the name of it? Because I'd like to.
I can't
remember.
I'll
I
have to look it up, but-
can't even remember the activist's name. Do you remember his name?
No.
But
Is
you
there?
know,
An, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
in Chechnya, it's, I mean, obviously they're talking about concentration camps, and to me that's relevant for all of us right now. Last week we were talking about, the Mega March. We had the Mega March last Sunday here, and I was talking about how that is an LGBT issue, because think of all the people in our community are trying to get out of these places where it's bad to be there anyway, but it's a lot worse when ISIS is going to
And
throw
one
you
thing
off
I was
a building.
proud of, there wasn't a great turnout for the Mega March. There were maybe 10,000 people.
That's still a lot of
which is
people.
a nice turnout. The one in 2006 had 500,000 people, but there was a good gay presence.
Yeah, I mean,
And it was
part of the
more than
organizing.
just the LULAC, the Rainbow LULAC group. There were just a lot of gay people who were there.
What
which
I'm
was nice
wondering
to see.
in Chechnya is, what was there a specific incident that sparked
No.
all of this hate again?
No.
What's
No.
It's just part of the whole right wing.
We're
Nationalism.
we're going through this period of right-wing nationalism. It started
Everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. It started with, or the first vote was Brexit, and then Trump, and we're going through this period where we don't want these refugees. We don't want to help people.
Right.
And
Like Trump, who's so busy bombing in Syria. That's nice, but these kids might have been safe had we accepted them as refugees.
Right.
So
exactly.
you know,
When
there's
I'm
more than just one part of helping helping kids.
When I'm seeing the links, especially like on Facebook, and people are posting stuff, I don't want to read them, and maybe I'm open to input on this, but I feel so helpless because they're over there. You know, if it was somewhere close to here, yeah, let's do this, but over there where they have different laws and they're on the other side of the world, I just feel so helpless when I read them. I don't know what I can do.
there is, I hate to say that, I don't remember what it is. There is an organization that, I don't think it was in the story on our site,
Mm-hmm.
but there's an organization that is trying to help as many of these people get out as they can, and usually it's the gay men who are targeted. The lesbians kind of, unless you're just unless you're just, real butch and can't hide, like, a few people in the world.
You're a lesbian?
Shh.
Lipstick.
But the men, they go after the men, especially the effeminate men, because those are the ones that are easy to target. And they're like, we're not setting up interviews with reporters with these guys. No doubt. They don't want their faces out there. We're trying to get them out. And, in the Civil War, during the period of slavery here, we had an underground railroad that helped people escape.
I really hope that there's something like that going on.
There
right
is. Now. It's out there, and we can't. They're not going to talk about it because they don't want people coming after them. But there are efforts to find the LGBT people who are being targeted in Chechnya and some of the African countries, and get them to safety. And if you want to do something, you need to get connected with these people. Amnesty International. There are mainstream organizations that have LGBT specific programs. Find out how you can help. We all have to be responsible for each other.
Are there any countries around Chechnya that are doing something about it? I mean,
Well, Chechnya is part of Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a state in Russia.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And I mean, they've had civil war there. Putin has bombed them, and it's just not a good situation at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that reminded me of something else. But I believe that our Secretary of State actually said to the Russians, you guys got to stop this. This isn't right. You can't do this. And they're like, that's not happening. And the head of Chechnya is like, we're not beating up gay people. There aren't any gay people here. We just don't have gay people.
Just with that comment
you can't
right
beat
there
them.
shows their ignorance.
Right.
Well, it's not ignorance. It's just meanness.
Right.
But Russia's not going to do anything because Russia's just as bad, So we can't rely on them to do anything. But, they're not going to do anything in our government because, well, our government.
Well, and one of the reasons that something like this is successful at a time where we're going through this right-wing
Renaissance,
whatever, is because other countries are less likely to accept refugees.
What were you saying?
It puts into perspective how lucky we are, as messed up as our country is and stuff, how lucky we are to have been born here. And I've been effeminate my entire life.
No.
And so I would be in a concentration camp over there,
Yeah, no,
Me too.
And I mean, we're joking,
heartbreaking, but yeah.
but yes.
And even if not, and even if you can pass for straight and you're masculine or whatever, you have to hide your entire life. So it's like you're not alive.
How do you live like that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. Is there anything that, like, for people watching and listening to this, that where they can go to Dallas Voice? Is there a link somewhere that they can do something?
we need to put up links for a couple of these organizations.
We'll
that are
do
doing
that.
Something, and
Thank
we'll
you.
do that.
We will do that
Yeah.
when we're done here. It'll be by tonight sometime. You can go to our site and look for on our blog, Instant Tea. Look on our blog for a post that will have links to tell you who to contact to find out how you can help, or can you help?
Yeah,
What can you do?
And hopefully the best thing that's happening over there is like that underground thing that you talked about that no one knows about because they are so underground, and hopefully they are rescuing a lot of people.
Hopefully there's a glimmer of hope over there.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, that, and not to be too negative or scare tactic kind of tone here, but we have to remember it's happening there now. We can't let it happen here. We talk about Hitler and World War II and the Jewish people and the gypsies and the gay people there.
And no chemical weapons were used.
No
against
chemical weapons were used by Hitler.
Right, exactly.
He didn't gas his
Okay,
own people.
Spicer.
But, we talk about how horrible that was. We had concentration camps here. Japanese Americans, American citizens were put in concentration camps here. And we don't, nobody knew about that. So it does happen here. It happens not to that extent, but we can't let it start here. We have to be mindful here as well as trying to find a way to help there.
Yeah, and here, a year and a half ago, I thought, now that, marriage equality has happened, what are we going to fight about now? Stupid me. I actually thought that at one moment.
It's just probably all your fault.
Probably is. It's always my fault.
Well, that's going on to a different topic, but just this week, the North Carolina legislature introduced legislation to override the Supreme Court.
Yes, because God said in the Bible that a man will leave his family and a woman will leave her family, and they will come together, and a man and a woman come together and become married and become their own family. So therefore, God overrides the Constitution.
In North Carolina, there were legislators who actually seriously introduced this legislation,
And that's what it
seriously thinking. Now, these are people who are sworn to uphold the Constitution of their state and the national Constitution, who honestly believe that the Bible trumps.
Yeah.
It says that specifically.
Yeah. Can I give a quote? I actually have a T-shirt. It says, "God talks to me too. He thinks you're an asshole."
Yeah. Yeah.
So now what?
So
Does that
everyone-
trump what they just
Well,
said? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, when we were talking about this story, was it yesterday or Wednesday? We were talking about that story, and David comes in and he goes, "What are they talking about? This a man will leave his." He says, "It never says that." I said, "Yeah, it says that in the Bible. They use that in the weddings all the time." He goes, "No." He goes back and he translates
Well, I
the
had to go
original,
find the
and it's
original.
all about bread. And I'm like, it doesn't make any damn sense.
It is
Well, it's
such
the
a
Bible.
mistranslation.
Something about bread.
It is such a
It's all black and
Favorite
white.
fiction. It's my
It's very
favorite work
clear.
of fiction.
There you go.
It
Exactly.
so isn't. It was such a mistranslation that they've twisted
Yeah.
to make
It's
into
about bread,
this.
twisted
oh,
bread.
You have to be. Yeah.
We have
Okay,
to
we
take
have
another-
we have to take a break. Okay, we'll be back, y'all. Don't go anywhere.
You're kidding. Is that for real?
And a man will have his bread, and then his parents will give him some bread, and then
They've never.
Okay, we're back, and we've got like 8 more minutes to talk. We've decided we're going to talk a little bit
We're
about
only going to
United.
have 6 because we want to show the trailer of.
No, that's
the
including
movie.
the trailer.
That's the final thing. I've done this once or twice. I've got this.
You're doing well.
No, we're going to talk about United Airlines, and
And dragging that guy off of the plane.
dragging the guy off the plane, the girls with the leggings that weren't allowed on, and you're telling me about some woman.
Well, it didn't have to do with the flight. It was just a woman who was thrown on the floor by a police officer because she was stepping in because her boyfriend was fighting with another guy, and she kept bothering the police officer, and then he threw her on the ground.
There was another incident on a plane where a man who had purchased a first-class ticket was told, get out of your seat or we'll drag you off the plane handcuffed. You need to go back into coach because we need this seat for somebody else. That's to a first-class passenger.
Somebody who
The
is supposedly more important.
Here's my solution to it. It needs to start with the arrest and charges against the CEO of that company. These are his policies. I don't care that he wasn't the one directly. If a company is that big and you're the CEO making tens of millions of dollars, take responsibility for your company. And if you can't, your company's too goddamn big and needs to be broken up. And that airline, as far as I'm concerned, should be broken up. But if we're not going to do that, the CEO should be arrested. Then we'll talk.
I completely 100% disagree.
Now, we had this argument online.
Yeah. No, sorry. I mean, there's a
Whose
level.
fault is it to you?
Well, I think they both had a fault, because I was putting myself first in the CEO's shoes. So let's say he made a mistake. They made a mistake, and they're like, "Crap, we overbooked." Okay, but it's done. What can you do? Because a lot of people on my Facebook post, they're like, "Well, they shouldn't overbook." Yes, I understand that, but it happened.
I understand
Now what?
overbooking too, because if you don't overbook, you're going to end up flying with empty seats. I get that.
Right. So then they're full. They ask for 4 people because they need to get, their flight attendant. But who cares? United is asking, we need 4 volunteers. We're going to give you this amount
And
of.
they didn't get them.
Yeah. And then they finally got 3, and then they had 1 left. And they kept upping the thing. I think got up to 1,000.
To about $1,000.
About
They can go to
$1,000.
$1,300 by law. Now,
Okay.
policies on other airlines, Southwest Airlines, if you can't get them, they are allowed to go higher than that.
Right.
And the employees are allowed to use their discretion to do what's best for the company. Now, do you think, let's say they had gone to $2,000. Ooh, we're losing money on this. Do you know how much they're going to lose? First of all, they're refunding the ticket of every passenger on that plane, and I hope some more of those passengers on that plane sue the hell out of that company.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fair enough. And I agree with all of that. What I'm saying is when, they offered, and whatever they offered, and let's just say in this case it was the $1,000. The guy, they had no other choice. This is just from everything that I've read. And so now they have to do a system on the computer of, which people would be on the, have the least amount of wait time to get on another flight to get them to where they were. And they came up with this random person, and he refused. And they're like, "Come on, can you?" And he just said, "No, I'm not." And then, he threw out all of these reasons. Dude, I don't care that you're a doctor. I don't care that you got places to be. We're all busy. We are all just as important as you. Who cares? So now from there, it didn't have to get as aggressive, but I was thinking, why? Yeah, the cops didn't have to do this. They didn't have to pull him out, because then it started a domino effect.
They weren't cops.
They were
It was
airport police.
Airport
Okay.
security. Yeah. And then that's where he got hit, and he's bleeding, and when you see the video, I'm like slapping my forehead because he's screaming and making such a huge deal, and I'm like, dude, honestly, all you had to do was get up and walk out of the plane. I would have done that. I wouldn't have sat there and white-knuckled the seat and caused a scene with kids and young kids and everybody and disrupting
I'm glad
everything.
he did it. I'm glad he did it. I'm tired of the abuse from airlines. I'm just tired of it. I have seen that kind of thing. I was on a flight from Denver to Dallas about 2 years ago on one local carrier. And I got a call. It was a 7 a.m. flight. I got a call at 1 a.m. from them that my flight was going to be delayed an hour. Then I got a call at 2 a.m. that the flight was going to be delayed 2 hours. Then I got a call at 3 a.m. that the flight was going to be delayed 3 hours. Then I got a call at 4 a.m. that the flight was delayed until 1 in the afternoon. So I should be at the airport by noon. That's fine. Got to the airport at noon. When I got there, the flight was delayed until 6 o'clock that evening, and then the flight finally went at 7 o'clock. People who were delayed and bumped off of a flight at about 4 in the afternoon were given vouchers to fly on my flight. I was sitting there for 12 hours. I had nothing to do in Denver, and was given nothing. We weren't given, even though we were told to be at the airport at noon, and didn't leave till 7, we weren't even given so much as a meal ticket.
Right.
That's
not-
abuse. That's just abuse by the airline.
Well,
Service has gotten so terrible, these airlines need to be put in their place and said, no, you can't treat your customers like that.
Correct. I agree with you there, but that's not clinging onto your seat and refusing to do something.
This is your
Go
point.
and bitch
Find
and
another way
complain.
to do it.
Go
Your
and
point.
bitch and complain and do it the
But
right way.
you know why I'm glad he did this? Because he was injured, and he's going to have a major lawsuit against that airline. They lost $1 billion in value on the stock market as a result of it, and it's forcing them to do anything. Had he just gotten off and they ended up giving him a voucher for $1,000, what would their policy be? And it's going to happen again and again. And in 1 week, we have 4 different examples of that airline being abusive. I'm glad he did it because it's their policy to abuse their customers.
Your point is this man got hurt, and he would not have been hurt if he had. And you,
And
if he had
I'm
just,
agreeing with that.
Yeah.
And you
My post-
also
yeah.
you posted something. I think maybe a photo you took with your phone of some woman
Yeah,
in an
that's
argument.
the woman I'm talking
right
about, yeah.
Right before,
Yeah, the day before.
and it's like when the even when they're wrong, when you have someone with weapons telling you to do something. Even if they're wrong, maybe you should do that one thing now to avoid being shot or injured.
And I get that, but had he not done this, he's a hero as far as I'm concerned. Because
I think he's an idiot.
I think he's an
He's
idiot
an
too.
idiot.
No, I'm agreeing with
You
that
can
too.
be idiotic and be a hero.
That's true.
Had he not done this, that airline would have just been allowed to just keep doing exactly what they're doing. They would have continued to be abusive, and because of him, they're going to have to completely change their policies. But I think that CEO should be arrested.
But because of him, now we're going to have people acting up because of him, and they're going to be
until
more idiotic as well.
Until they change their policies on the airlines, I hope more people act up like this. And
If
just
people were sane and were decent people, they would. But you're coming from somebody who waited tables and dealt with the public. He's starting something that's going to go down a downward spiral.
and
It's like Cash Me Outside, right?
The Catch Me Outside. How about that? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
hate her
it's-
so much.
I know. And it's like somebody got famous doing something stupid, and so now she gets to be famous, and so now somebody else is going to see it, and they're
And
going to
filthy
do
rich,
something
yeah.
stupid, whether they have a good reason to or not. They're going to do something stupid so they can be famous.
Right.
All right. We have to take a break, and we're going to watch. This time we are really, truly going to watch the trailer for A Very Sordid Wedding. Watch for Cassie Nova.
Yay.
Well, Mama,
Yeah, it's
it's been 17 years
the post that I
since
had
you
done the day-
died. My son came out as gay right in front of your coffin. And Mama's ghost is haunting me.
Seemed like just yesterday that Peggy tripped over them wooden legs.
And I took one of them legs and I bashed in all the windows on his pickup truck.
I'm putting back together that 15-year tribute for Peggy.
Hey, Mama. You could throw us our wedding.
It's just not exactly the kind of wedding that I always envisioned. I need you to rescue me.
Well, did you hear that the hitchhiker murderer has escaped the pen?
Rise and shine, give God the glory, glory.
I like crazy.
Hardy's new in town. And who are you, the welcome wagon?
Well, you're just never gonna believe what the church is doing.
They're
Having an anti-equality revival.
Supreme Court's not the law of this land. Word of God's the law of this land.
We want our rainbow back.
No cakes, no flowers, no photos.
Our kind of Christianity frightens me.
Some things in the Bible that just do not make a lick of sense to me.
Well, I live by the Bible, Sissy. I don't need it to make sense.
That doesn't sound right.
You can't swing a cat in this town without hitting a bigot.
Folks who want to tell you how to live your life.
Gays can't get married in the church.
This feels like a trick question.
Gays can't get married in the courthouse.
Hearts and minds are changing.
We have stopped equality.
Anti-equality works both ways.
And we must stop villainizing our own children.
This is where I learned to be gay. Under what table?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the amateur show here in the Rose Room at S4.
Ain't it a bit? All right,
Okay. I am so confused.
Okay, so I've got a quick 2 minutes. Hey, y'all, we're back. We've got about 2 minutes to wrap up, and I'm going to spend those 2 minutes letting the people at this table talk about themselves very briefly. Go.
Oh, crap. Find me at Spayse Studios, Spayse.
What's your name?
SpaceStudios.com. I'm Israel Luna. So come out here if you want a show. Go to spacestudios@gmail.com and let us know about
You
it.
can come up here and do this too.
Yes.
And every Friday, 3 o'clock, live streaming right here.
Yep. Don't Panic. That's my show.
Okay. Next we have
4
James
o'clock.
Love.
James Love, Cassie Nova.
This is
In the Rose Room, Fridays through Sundays. Come out. It's a wonderful show. Or if you've got any questions or need advice, I need some questions for my Dallas Voice column.
Yes, indeed.
Send it to askcassinova@gmail.com.
So they can be funny and serious questions.
No question too. I would say it's too stupid, but that's not true. There's a lot of stupid questions, but those are fun to answer. So.
Yes. And you are show director at the Rose Room, right?
Yep.
Right.
And you also do your Monday show at JR's.
Mondays at JR's, the Freak
11.
Show. Yep.
Yeah.
She's very important. She's a busy
Very
businesswoman.
important.
Yes. Now,
And
David Taffet.
I am David Taffet, senior staff writer for Dallas Voice. I was just a staff writer, but they wanted to tell me I was old.
That's for me.
So.
And Lambda Weekly,
And I do Lambda Weekly Sundays at 1 o'clock KNON 89.3.
like one of the longest running LGBT
It's the longest
radios.
running LGBT talk show in the country.
That's awesome.
34
Yes, indeed.
years.
Wow.
All right.
Every Sunday.
Every.
It's Sunday's not special. He's Jewish. And I am Tammy Nash. I'm managing editor for Dallas Voice, and you can find me on Facebook. You can email me at nash@dallasvoice.com. You got story ideas? You got something you want to see on this show? Let us know. We'll wait to hear from you. Thank y'all. We'll see you next week, 4 o'clock, live streaming from Space Station.
Yay.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye y'all.